Good to see everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. We, of course, have your news headlines coming up on this Tuesday. Have a message from my book, Words That Choose to Live By, and in today's Entertainment Spotlight, you're part of my conversation with best-selling author Manswell T. Peterson. Enjoy today's broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Tuesday headlines. In international news, Hamas accepts Gaza's ceasefire proposal from Egypt and Qatar, says CNN. Hamas said it has accepted a ceasefire deal proposed by Egypt and Qatar, which seeks to halt the 7-month war in Israel in Gaza. In a statement Monday, Hamas said the head of its political bureau told the Qatari prime minister and Egyptian intelligence minister that the militant group had accepted their proposal. Shortly afterwards, Israel said the proposal Hamas had accepted was still far from the necessary requirements, but that it would send a delegation to the mediators. It also reiterated its commitment to launch an offensive in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, saying its war cabinet had unanimously decided to continue with the operation to exert military pressure on Hamas. Prior to Israel's response, Palestinians had been celebrating in the streets over Hamas announcements. In Tel Aviv, hostage families said their supporters implored Israel's leaders to accept the deal. The details of the proposal Hamas said it has agreed to remain unclear, and whether it is referring to the most recent ceasefire proposal as outlined last week, or a revised version of it, says CNN. The most recent framework, which Israel helped craft but has not fully agreed to, calls for the release of between 20 to 33 hostages over several weeks in exchange for a temporary ceasefire and the release of Palestinian prisoners. After the initial exchange, according to that framework, that would follow what sources described as a restoration of sustainable calm, during which the remaining hostages, captive Israeli soldiers, and the bodies of hostages will be exchanged for more Palestinian prisoners. A diplomatic source familiar with the talks told CNN that after a day-long meeting in Qatar's capital between the CIA director Bill Burns and the Qatari prime minister, mediators had convinced Hamas to accept a 3-part deal. The bill is now firmly in Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's court, the source said. The White House on Monday confirmed that there had been a response from Hamas to the proposed hostage deal in Israel, and that U.S. President Joe Biden had been briefed on that response, but otherwise declined to weigh in specifically on what a deal could entail. In national news, Mike Johnson signals House power play in 2025, says Axios. Ahead of a potential motion to vacate vote this week, Speaker Mike Johnson is tipping his hand for how he or his successor should rebuild the power of the House speakership, says Axios. Johnson told donors Sunday night in D.C. that the House GOP should consider rule changes next Congress to ensure a majority of the GOP gets its way. Johnson's comments to donors were first reported by Punchbowl News. Restoring rules that reflect the majority of the majority would affect the speakership in 2 primary ways. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy's appointment of hardliners has effectively lost the GOP's majority on the committee that controls what legislation reaches the floor. On must-pass legislation, the Speaker has to skip the committee and instead work with Democrats to pass votes with a 2/3 majority. Democrats effectively have been governing as if they were in the majority, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told 60 Minutes on Sunday. The second way it would protect the speakership is by not letting a motion to vacate be called by a single member. Conservatives are furious about talks of changes to the rules, arguing they are in place to keep leaders accountable. In Mississippi news, fraternity says it removed member for racist actions during Mississippi campus protests, says the Associated Press. A national fraternity says it has removed one of its members for racist actions at the University of Mississippi as a large group of students heckled a smaller group that was protesting the Israel-Hamas war. A video from the Thursday confrontation last week showed a man appearing to make monkey noises and gestures at a black woman. The racist actions in the video were those of an individual and are not the values of Phi Delta Theta and the Mississippi Alpha chapter, the national fraternity said in a statement over the weekend. The responsible individual was removed from membership on Friday, May the 3rd. The Associated Press left a voicemail message with the fraternity's national office on Monday, asking whether the student who was removed was the one shown making the monkey noises and gestures. There was no immediate response. And finally, in business news, Wall Street rises to add to last week's gains, says the Associated Press. U.S. stocks closed higher on Wall Street, adding to last week's gains. The S&P 500 climbed 1% Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.5%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 1.2%. Treasury yields held steady in the bond market following last week's big moves on hopes that a cooling job market could get the Fed Reserve to cut interest rates this year. Berkshire Hathaway rose after Warren Buffett's company reported its latest quarterly results over the weekend. Freshpet jumped after reporting better results than expected. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Tuesday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. There will be those who will forever try to tie you to your past mistakes and misfortunes, but their words only have power if you allow them to. While others are focused on yesterday, continue living your life today. Have an amazing Tuesday. We are part of my conversation coming up with best-selling author Manswell T. Peterson in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Best-selling author Manswell T. Peterson rejoined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about all the brand new projects he has in store for you. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Manswell, glad to have you back on with us.
Hey, Cyrus, thank you for having me, man.
Always a pleasure. I am excited about all the great things you're doing. I should also mention, for those who don't know, Manswell is also with me, the co-host of the show, The Author's Den, as well. We're able to spotlight authors. So I want to talk about the busy 2024, which is not really unusual for you, Manswell. You normally have a lot going on, but what has it been like for you to see the way the readers are responding to the different types of books you're releasing this year?
You know, it's been fun, and I was literally reading emails this morning from readers, and of course, everybody's always, when's the next one, when's the next one, when's the next one? That's why I do rapid release. That's why I go so hard in the paint for my readers, because, you know, they love stories, they love what comes, and they always want to know what happens next. And so I'm always trying to make sure I feed the readers. And you got to remember, since I'm in multiple genres, you know, I'm feeding readers across different spectrums, and it's fun to see how they're starting now to cross over and read different things that I've written. I think the most shocking part was I got an email this morning about my One Last Cry series, and they didn't even realize I was getting ready to upgrade the covers, because that series came out, Cyrus, 2012, and I think it ended in 2013. And so we're actually coming, we got some new covers coming for that, so might tease the readers with that today on social media. But yeah, we're coming back, so it's fun.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning in to this edition of Conversation Daily News. I'll be back on tomorrow's more news, a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, our host Cyrus Webb saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.